What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about my first month of ownership with my S1000RR. So I want to talk to you guys about everything. My purchasing experience, my owning experience, what it's been like to ride, the maintenance, my first service, everything. I wanted to make this video when I was getting it up to the dealership to get the first service, but it just didn't happen. The camera I had and the microphone I had just weren't very good at all. So I'm doing it now. So I first sat on this bike, not this exact one, but an S1000 in spring. I first sat on this bike in spring of last year it was, and I fell in love with it. Instantly fell in love with it. And the salesman was super awesome. I told him I wasn't planning on buying that bike today, and he was totally understanding. He gave me his business card, and he said, call me when you're ready, and that's exactly what I did. Come December, I gave him a phone call, told him the exact specs I wanted, the premium package, the black, everything I wanted on it. He said, give me $500 for a deposit, and we will get it on its way. And he gave me by late February, early March, and seems how it's middle March now, and I've already had it for a month. That means we did pretty dang good. When I got to the dealership to pick it up, super awesome. They had it set aside for me with a bunch of aftermarket stuff next to a counter. Paperwork ready to go. Super awesome. Super seamless process. It was amazing. If I ever want another BMW, I'll definitely go through them again. Awesome. That's a Gateway BMW in St. Louis. Super awesome guys. I trailered it home that day, and when I got back into my town, I gave it a little ride, and it was weird. It was very scary. Never had a leader bike before, even though it was locked. It's still when you get them from the factory, they have restrictions on them. They're limited to 8,500 RPM and like 130 miles an hour, which honestly it felt very close to my CB650. The way the power distribution felt, it felt very, very similar, which I honestly was okay with. It wasn't too big of a leap for me, so I kind of skipped the whole 600 bracket. I felt like the 650 was enough. It made 90-ish horsepower, so it didn't feel like too big of a jump for me, if that makes sense. Everything on this bike just feels so refined. It's so smooth. All the buttons feel good. The controls feel good. Cruise control is phenomenal. See, we just set cruise control just like that, and the bike goes. The bike does what we want it to. We can steer with no hands. It's amazing. It's awesome. To shut the cruise control off, you brake, front or rear. You can downshift. I believe if you roll the throttle forward too, it shuts off. Super cool. Super awesome. The heated grips too are another big game changer for me. I have them on number 2 right now, and they are fantastic. They work super well. They're kind of nuclear bombs, I'm not going to lie. They might work a little too well sometimes. The power distribution is amazing. I know a lot of people talk about the dead spots. Second gear does kind of have a nasty dead spot about right here, actually. See, the power kicks in around 7-ish thousand, like through 4,000. You kind of don't feel much, and then it kind of grabs you, which I've heard in the twisties that can be kind of a nightmare. I actually haven't hit many twisties since I got it unlocked. But I actually had a 2-hour ride to get to the dealer. The dealer's 2 hours away from me, and they have to do the first service. There's ways you can do it yourself. The reason you have to take it to them is to take off the factory restriction. That needs to be done with a proper scan tool. I know BT Moto sells a scan tool to do it, but I just figured I'd take it to the dealer. I'll do the next services myself, assuming how I work on cars. You know, I'm not too nervous about it. They had me done in like less than an hour. It was pretty wild. I expected a full day up in St. Louis to get everything done, but yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. We're gonna hit the interstate here. We're gonna set our cruise control and we're just gonna coast. It's amazing, man. I really do love this bike. It's actually way more comfortable than I ever thought it would be. People say it's actually very relaxed super sport, which is pretty freaking awesome. I don't feel like I'm destroying my back. If my backpack's a little heavy, then it really does start to hurt. But just cruising, I mean, it took about an hour and a half for me to really get kind of super annoyed with the body position and everything. So all things considered, not terrible at all. The ride modes are something that's a little confusing. Maybe not to you, but to me, figuring out how to set everything up for me was a little bit of a challenge. So the way I have it set up now, I have my engine output, I have it set to 1, which is the highest. So I have the best throttle response and engine power. My engine braking is on the 2nd highest, so it's not completely off, but it's there, because this bike stock, the engine braking is crazy. You let off the throttle and you just dive forward. It's pretty wild. ABS I have set to racetrack. Traction control I have set to racetrack, so not completely off, the one above completely off. Wheelie control I have set to high wheelies possible, and then I have 3 for my dynamic dampening suspension on the front and rear for the compression and rebound on both. Now the power, the power is a little crazy. It's really weird being on something that can literally beat everything around you. Now I'm not the craziest rider out there, by no means. I like to cruise, I like to hit twisties on occasion, but I don't really like to go full send all the time like some other people on YouTube. So I feel like I have a good middle weight for the average person who's wondering if this is a bike they should get, and I absolutely think it is. I love this bike so much. I thought I was going to miss my 650. I thought this bike was going to be way too much for me, uncomfortable, but it's been amazing. I kind of took a leap on it. I sat on it one time, was like, yep, that's what I want, and I'm very happy I did so. Like, I have cruise control set. I haven't touched my throttle once. It's baffling. Another thing I found really freaking weird at first was hill assist. Since I work in a shop, I find hill assist very annoying trying to drive on and off lifts. It can be super obnoxious sometimes. So when I was at the dealer, they showed me how to set it up, put it on the manual mode, so I actually have to turn it on and off myself every time I want to use it, so the bike's not deciding like, hey, we should use hill assist here, which I'd imagine would get extremely annoying. So I really only use it at like red lights and stuff. Even when I'm about to take off, I'll shut it off. I just find that where the clutch engages feels a little odd with it. But it's super awesome. It's actually a super great feature, especially the seat height on this bike is very high, which I did not expect. This bike sits higher than my CB650 did. So right here, I can't flat foot. So I'll show you at the next light. The next light will make a little bit more sense. All right, here, I can show you here. So look, we're on the brake. We hold the front brake down, squeeze it, and then the top left hill assist is on. So now I'm off the brake, off the rear brake, and we're just cruising. So you can shut it off and then just let go like normal. You can leave hill assist on, and when you release the clutch, it'll shut itself off when the bike has enough torque to get itself moving. If this is a bike you're considering, or you found a really good deal on, or a buddy wants to sell you, it is a really good bike. I love it. I don't think there's one thing about this thing that I absolutely hate. Maybe putting on the exhaust. The exhaust might be on the list of things that I hate. That was miserable. It was terrible. And man, how can you get over that quick shifter sound? That quick shifter blows me away, man.